YouTube, how are you now? Sean here from the EDC Den. Welcome back to the channel, one and all. Ladies and gentlemen, Rough Ryder Reserve. My Rough Ryder Reserves are finally here. I told you guys many moons ago that I ordered these when they first came out. That must have been the fall of 2020, I believe. I live in Canada. Smoky Mountain Knife Works, they don't ship to Canada just yet. Hoping they change that. So I did have to order these and send them to some family in the US. And then with the Canada-US border closure, it was complicated, guys. Long story short, I got these knives about 7 or 8 months after I ordered them. I've had them in my possession for a month and a half or so now. And we're going to talk about them. So what we have here are the first 3 knives from the Rough Ryder Reserve series. Of course, Rough Ryder is a fantastic line of traditional knives made by Smoky Mountain Knife Works. They're produced overseas in China, and they're just great traditional affordable knives. Rough Ryder Reserve is that little cut above, that little top shelf offering from Rough Ryder. It's a new thing for them. Let's get into it here. So what we have are the first 3 knives of the series, the Rough Ryder 1, 2, and 3. This one here is the Easy Open Razor. This is the Kayak, which is their take on the canoe pattern. And here we have the Swell Center Whittler. Boy, oh boy, did these knives create a little bit of controversy when they came out. Pretty interesting to see. They're trying to wedge themselves into the traditional market, which is largely made up of a few big knife makers. Of course, we have Case, we have Great Eastern Cutlery, Schatt and Morgan. All kinds of companies have their own lines of traditionals, whether that's Boker or Line Steel, or even the modern makers like Spyderco and Benchmade are getting into the modern traditionals. For me personally, my collection of traditional knives is it's got some variety. You know, there's some budget knives, there's some nice French knives, and there's quite a bit of Case knives. Definitely the most traditionals that I have are made by Case. And then I've got a nice little selection of Great Eastern Cutlery. So that's the mindset I'm going into this with, comparing them, but being reasonable in my expectations. So let's throw a statement out there right away that I can say with pretty much 100% certainty. Rough Ryder Reserve knives, they're not quite up there quality-wise with Great Eastern Cutlery. But that's okay, guys. It's a totally different price point. Yes, they're both makers of traditional knives, and yes, Smoky Mountain Knife Works and Rough Ryder Reserve would like to get a little piece of that Great Eastern Cutlery pie, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll work themselves into that market, but let's just say that the quality and the materials and all that is just not the same, and that's fine. Like I said, totally different price points. I think Case is a more compelling company to draw a comparison to these Rough Ryder Reserves. So we might focus on that in this video, more so than the GEC. I know you guys have seen these. They've been out for quite some time. Let's just take a look at them. I ordered the first 3 because I was excited about this line of knives. I have not ordered any since. It's number 4, which would be right here if I ordered it. It actually wasn't out when I ordered these, so I didn't have to make that decision. When it came out, it turns out it wasn't something that I was interested in. Number 4 is called the Barback. It has a bottle opener incorporated in there. Cool little design, just not for me. I picked these up because, well, you got the first 3, 1, 2, 3. You have a single blade, a double blade, a triple blade, so 1, 2, 3 again. I like that. I picked this one up mainly because it's definitely unique in my collection. You have this easy opening pinch cutout here. I don't think I have that on any other knives. And I certainly don't have this one-hand opening method here, where you would catch this on the edge of your pocket or a table or something. And as you can see, that will bring the knife out. Unfortunately, this idea, I guess, came to light for soldiers who were coming back from war, missing a limb, and they could only open their pocket knives with one hand. So that's definitely another thing that made this knife unique for me and my collection. The fit and finish on this guy is perfect. Really perfect. Excellent centering. All nice and clean, good looking micarta with no flubs on it. Oh my goodness. Did you guys see that Rough Ryder Reserve number 6 that Tobias Gibson got? Had a big blemish on the micarta. I don't know why they're sending that out, and of all people, to Tobias, who's going to show it on his channel, and potentially thousands of people are going to see it. So that wasn't great to see, but I believe he did return that, and they took care of him and sent him a new one. I'm sure he's perfectly satisfied with the new one. Back to this guy here. No gaps at all. Everything is seamless on that back spring. Here in the half stop position, we do show that back spring as showing a little bit proud. It's nice to see that nice and flush, but that's not something I'm going to gripe about. I really don't care about that at all, I want to say. It's nice when it's there, but if it's a little bit proud, I'm not too concerned. I'm like a wiggly blade play kind of guy. If my blade is blade play, I'm not too impressed. Because I know you can make them without it, so yeah, just try and make it without blade play. That'd be great. Yeah, so this one's awesome. This one's a 10 out of 10. This was $40 US. And here we've got the denim micarta covers. Moving on to number 2. This is the Kayak. Why did I get this one? Well, I was pretty much determined to pick up the first 3 of this series no matter what they were. So that's one thing. Another thing is I was trying to find a nice canoe and I was striking out like crazy. I could not get a good canoe. So I thought, maybe I'm going after the wrong boat. Let's try a kayak. So this is the Kayak. Of course, a normal canoe pattern would look like this, where it comes up here. Got these bolsters. So this has like the canoe style bolsters. Not sure what makes it a kayak. Don't think kayaks look like that, but anyway, it's a kayak because it's not a canoe. Wait a second. Is this going to be a kayak if I open it up? I think it is. Yeah. That's a kayak, isn't it? Definitely. That's actually pretty cool. So I'm not going to call this one a 10 out of 10. I don't like it as much as this one. This one I love a lot. Again, $40. This one we're jumping up to 2 blades and it's going to cost you $50. What do I not love about it? Well, as you can see with a canoe pattern, how your little kick, your tang is nicely flush here with the bolsters. Just makes for a really nice pocket carry. Nothing pointy sticking out like we have here. On the backside here, things only get funkier, right? We got some corners hanging out. Just not as clean as the old canoe. Let's just see the backside of the canoe. Yeah, everything's nice and tucked in. That's just my preference, I guess. The blades have a reverse Tonto kind of grind on it, which is cool and different and not canoe-like. So they're trying to set this apart from the canoes, and I can appreciate that. I don't love how it looks. I think I like my traditionals more traditional. But look, we can't knock them too hard. I think they are listening to us over there at Smoky Mountain Knife Works and Rough Ryder Reserve, because I mean they're really trying to check a lot of boxes. They're giving us what we would call a step up, I suppose, from synthetic covers like you'd see here, just a synthetic plasticky Delrin handle. So we got the micarta covers, and look at all the space here. So there's really no chance of blade rub. Both blades have ample room on either side and a spacer going down the middle. So there's lots of room in here. Of course, that bulks up the knife. One of the things I don't love is that it is bulky and wide. Again, compared to a canoe, since we're talking about kayaks and canoes, the canoe is much slimmer than the kayak. So pretty much I'd take the canoe pattern all day long over the kayak pattern. But yeah, just going back to them listening to us, we were always complaining about our blades rubbing. So they're like, hey, let's give this absolutely no chance of blade rub and everyone will be happy. But then we're going to complain that it's too darn wide. I know, we're a tough bunch to please. Everything looks really good back here. It's really great fit and finish. So this one, I think we're just going to take a point or two off for the design, but maybe we'll give those points right back to them for trying something new. I like that. I like a company that tries something new. I like that Rough Ryder's getting into this reserve line and stepping up their game in the traditionals. Number 3, the Swell Center Whittler. Got a nice swell in the center, so that's where the name comes from. And a whittling knife. We've got 3 blades here for your whittling needs. Again, a little bit on the wide side, but nice job with no blade rub. Look at the spacers we have here. So we've got the brass liners, and then we've got, is that 4 washers? Whew. So 4 washers to keep this guy lined up and in the middle of these 2 blades. Good fit and finish overall, not perfect. One of these blades has a little bit of wiggle, maybe a little bit more than a little. Not a lot, but a fair amount of wiggle. Otherwise, a really good solid knife. I like this one a lot. See if we can find that wiggly blade. No, that one's good and solid. That only leaves one left. Yep, we got a wobbler here. Nothing crazy, not like a send back situation or anything, especially for me in Canada. There's no way I'm sending this back. Pretty good, pretty darn good. This one's $60 though, so we're starting to jump up price-wise. We need to expect a bit more. And yeah, it's big and it's heavy and all that, but it's a big 3-bladed knife, and they give us the dimensions on the website. We cannot complain too much about the size, I don't think. I think the only reason I'm complaining about the width of this one is it's maybe unnecessary, and you don't really get an idea of that when you're ordering it on the website. Whereas, you can look at the weight of this and know that you're getting a big, hefty knife. I have no issue with large, hefty knives. I like this one a lot. I guess my order of preference here is I like this one the best, this one second, and this one third. So are these knives a good value? We'll just go through the prices again. 40 US, 50 US, 60 US. That's not bad. For me, again, I'm in Canada, so these cost me more to get up here. They're really not that far off from the price of a lot of case knives, which is one of my preferred traditional knife makers to collect. So I'm probably going to keep focusing on case rather than Rough Ryder Reserve, and there's a few reasons for that. One thing is variety. So I'm not looking to fill my collection with denim micarta handles or any of these micarta really. All good. They all, came out with 3 separate colors for the first 3, but you're already starting to see these come back. I think they're up to maybe 8 knives in the Rough Ryder Reserve line, and I don't think they've branched out too far from these 3 colors. So you're seeing a lot of this and this, maybe a couple of these, and I'm sure we'll see some other colors going forward, but I'm also going to hope that they get into bone covers. That would probably make me jump back into picking up more of these. As it stands now, I don't think I want to duplicate the covers. While we're talking about variety, the shield. You're going to get the same shield every single time. It's a nice shield, very classy shield. They call it the Arrowhead, and it does look quite nice. But are you going to want it on every single one of your knives? Whereas case, yeah, they repeat their shields as well, but they have many, many, many shields, and it's just a way to add some variety and mix it up in the collection. They probably have, I have no idea. I can't even hazard a guess, but in my collection, I might have 20 case knives with maybe 10 or 12 different shields without even trying to get different shields. So that's neat. Shields is something that traditional knife collectors look to add variety to their collection. And some people might even buy a knife based on the shield. Whether that's the right thing to do or not, it is what it is. People like to collect for many, many reasons. The shield is one of those reasons. Still on variety here, going back to Case. Case, you're going to get just about every pattern in the book. Rough Ryder Reserve, they're brand new. They're working their way through the book of patterns, I guess. But you can't just say, oh, I want a traditional canoe or a traditional stockman from Rough Ryder Reserve. You might have to wait for that to come out and then snap one up when they are available. If Rough Ryder Reserve had a little suggestion box, or if they're listening to this video, a couple suggestions I would make, just in summary, would be to branch out from these micarta covers and start getting into bone. I also think they're priced just a touch high, just a touch. I think they need a little bit more separation from the Case price point. If these are similar in price to Case knives, then I'm going to stick with Case, to be honest, for the most part. Sure, if Rough Ryder Reserve that interests me pops up, I'll probably pick it up. But for the most part, I'll be sticking with other makers. I would like to see this $40 knife maybe come in at $35, this $50 knife come in at $40, and the $60 knife come in at $50. I think that's a better price point for them. I think it's a nice little bridging of the gap between Rough Ryder, not Reserve, just the budget line of Rough Ryder, and then the less expensive Case knives that you can pick up in the $40, $50, $60 range. So I think they need to create a little bit of separation, else people are most likely just going to stick with the Case knives. For example, a slip joint, also one blade, similar to this. I think I even got this one up here in Canada for $45, so that would make this a less expensive knife than that. And yeah, it's a different knife. There's more design going into this, different cover materials. But which one would I rather have? Oof. Might stick with the Case, guys. As a user, for sure. As a collectible, maybe go with this one. But we also can't forget about just the regular Rough Riders, the regular marbles. Look at this $15 marbles knife in D2 steel. It's the same steel, guys. 3 blades. You can basically compare these two knives, maybe not in size. So let's keep it reasonable. Let's compare it to this one. $50 and 14, I think. Maybe 12. And this is just amazing fit and finish. Micarta D2, Micarta D2. I don't know. They're both made in China, so am I being too hard on these? I really like these knives, guys. Don't get me wrong. These are great knives. I love what Smoky Mountain Knife Works is doing with Rough Ryder Reserve line. I think they really are making a good effort to make the consumer happy with what they're producing. So in summary, all in all, really happy with these knives. I think they're doing a great job over there. I hope they continue to push this line out. I'm sure I will acquire more in the future. I'm certainly not going to be somebody who collects every single one. So I'm late to the party as usual, very late for this one. I'd love to hear you guys mention in the comments what you're thinking about this Rough Ryder Reserve line. If I'm out to lunch with my opinions, or if you agree to some degree, which patterns you're liking, what you like about the line, what you don't like, what you maybe like to see done differently about the line. Most of you out there have had these for many, many, many months now. So I'd certainly be interested to hear your thoughts on them. Okay, guys, we're going to leave it here for today. We'll definitely be seeing these knives on the channel again. And over there on Instagram, please give me a little follow over there on Instagram and say hello. If you guys are just watching the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing. I'm going to let you guys get on with your day. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.